This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, everyone is able to see my screen. Please confirm. You can see my screen and you can listen to me. Okay, Shilpa, I'm waiting. Okay, I'll wait for 2 minutes. Yeah, yeah. Do it. I'll wait for 2 minutes. Do it genuinely, so that it will help us. Genuine feedback it will help us to improve. If any of your friends are also interested to learn Python, so inform them the fee details and all. So we can take the backup classes for them. The core Python classes we can repeat for them, and they can continue the advanced classes. Shilpa done. It's 10, 11. Shilpa, you can do that. Okay. Maybe after the class also. So let me start the session instead of wasting others' time. Okay. Okay, guys. Hope you are good with conditional statements. Let us discuss the next part. Iteration statements, iterative or looping statements. Okay. Iterative means it's a iteration, so it's a straightforward English word, or looping. That means when you want to execute something multiple times or repeatedly, then we have to use the iterative statements. In Python, we have two types of iterative statements: while loop and for loop. Okay, while loop and for loop. While you're working with loops, you need to understand three things. Okay, initialization, condition, and increment or decrement. Three things we need to consider. What are those? Initialization. Let me take Notepad++. Guys, this is very important class. Okay, listen carefully. Put some focus. So, initialization, condition, increment, or decrement. These are the important parts in the loops. Okay, I told you the purpose of a loop. The purpose of the loop is to iterate some statements multiple times. To execute some statements multiple times, we generally use the looping statements. Either while loop you can use, for loop also you can use as part of this. While you are writing the loops, you need to understand three things. You have to keep an eye on three things: initialization, condition, increment or decrement. Okay, let me tell you the syntax of while loop. Syntax would be like this. So one, initialization will be there, while keyword will be there, condition will be there, and your statements are nothing but your coding. Then you have to have increment or decrement statement. Increment or decrement statement. This is the syntax for the while loop. Let me write one simple example. Okay, I want to print uh, maybe 0 to 10 numbers. Okay, what I want to do, the action or the statement is print statement. The action I want to perform is, the operation I want to perform is printing. What I want to what are the numbers I want to print? I want to print from 0 to 10. Okay, in initialized value is 0 and the max value is 10. Okay, how I can write this program? Let me write and show it to you. Okay, let me add one more file to our project. New file, Python file, while loop example 1 maybe. Okay, the goal is clear, right? Uh, I want to do uh, I want to print 10 numbers from 0 to 1. Okay, it's very simple, straightforward. What I'll do is I'll take some initialization, some I equals to 0. Okay, then I'll say while I less than or equals to 10, then I'll say print I. Instead of I, you can take any number. I equals to I plus 1. Done. This is my program. Let us see the output of this one. I'm executing it. Okay, if you see the output, it printed numbers from 0 to 10. Okay, you have to understand how the execution flow happens. Okay, like first initialization statement will be executed. Okay, this is the statement first execution. When you're working with loops, first statement that is executed will be initialization. Then condition will be executed. Condition part will be executed, and the statements will be executed. Then iteration, again the condition. This way the execution will happen. Okay, to remove this error drawings. Okay, done. Okay, first I'm repeating, initialization part will be executed. Done. So I value will become 0. Then it comes to the condition. I is less than or equals to 10. Initially I value is a 0. We set it to 0. I less than or equals to 10. True. So if the condition is true, then only the body of the while loop will be executed. So here it comes, print I value will be printed, 0 will be printed. Then here I'm writing increment statement. I equals to I plus 1 is a increment statement. What happens here? I value will become 1. After increment statement, again it comes to the conditional statement. 1 is less than or equals to 10. True or false? True. So again, the print statement will be executed. 1 will be printed, and I equals to I plus 1. I value will become 2. Till I value is 10, the loop will be executed. Once I value becomes 11, 11 is not less than or equals to 10. So condition will fail. So it will go to the next line of the while loop. This is how the program will execute. For example, I want to do the same program in a reverse way. I want to print 10 to 0. How can I do that? 10 to 0, for example. I initialize it to I value equals to 10, I greater than or equals to 0. Here, instead of increment, I have to provide the decrement operation. So I have to reduce I value from 10 to 0. Okay, so if I run this program now, I'll see the output from reverse, like a 10 to 0, the values will be printed here. Is it clear? Okay, coming to the increment and decrement, you can write I equals to I plus 1 or like this, or I plus plus will also work for you. Why it's not working? Generally we write like this in other programming languages. Is it not accepting? Okay, looks like it's not accepting. Maybe you can write like this, I minus equals to 1. Assignment and decrement operators, we can have a combination like this, and we have to use, of course you can uh, write your own way here, that is fine. But logic you understand, like how the while loop is executing and how it is printing. Any questions on this part, guys? Any questions on this part, how the while loop is executing? Clear? Okay, good. Now I told you we have to keep an eye on three things: initialization, condition, and increment or decrement operation. Say for example, I did not provide the increment or decrement operation. I missed that statement. What happens now? What is the output for this program? I have written 3 lines of the program. What would be the output here? Can anyone guess? Come on, guys, guess. 10. Okay, 10 is the output by Sasiban is telling, like only 10. Okay, what else? 10, 10, 10. Infinite loop. Yes, that is the right answer. The thing is, I equals to 10 initialized. Good. 10 is greater than 0. True. Correct. So print I. 10 will be printed. Good. Then again, it goes to the conditional statement. In the conditional statement, we have 10 greater than or equals to 0. True. It will print the 10. Again, it will go to the conditional statement. 10 is greater than 0. True. Always the condition is true. So it will go to infinite loop. See here, my program is not stopping. It is continuously printing the 10. Are you seeing that? So in these situations, we have to go for abnormal termination of the program. So I'm stopping here. Okay. After stopping, it stopped. See here, exit code is also -1. So we abnormally stopped it. So the point here is you have to keep an eye on the initialization, condition, and infinite loop while you are writing the while loop. Otherwise, it may go into infinite loop. That you have to keep an eye. Okay, hope this is clear to everyone. Let me show you an example for loop also. For loop example. Okay. For loop is like a single line statement with containing the initialization and all. So it basically it iterates through the collection of elements. It iterates through a collection of items. Okay, let me write one for loop and I'll tell you. So for example, for x in range 10, print x. If I run this program, what is the output I got? I got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So when we discussed about the collections, we discussed about range also. What is range? Range is a collection. If I say range of 10, for example, it is a collection of 10 items. What are those 10 items? It starts from 0 and it ends at the number you have provided -1. Okay. If I say 10, up to 9, the items will be considered. Say for example, if I say 5 comma 10, what happens now? 5 comma 10. So from 5 to 9, the values will be printed. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the values that are printed here. So what is the x value? What is x here? X is a temporary looping variable. X is a temporary looping variable. It iterates through all the collection of items. Here, when this execution is happening, first this part will be evaluated. Okay, this part will be evaluated and 5 comma 10, right? So this will be like this: 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, for your understanding I'm writing like this. So what happens is, first x value will become 5. X value will become 5 and the loop body will be executed. So here for our example purpose, I have written only one statement. There might be multiple statements. Those multiple statements will be executed. Then x value will become 6 and loop body will be executed. 7 body execution will happen. 8 body execution will happen. 9 body execution will happen. After that, it will exit from the loop. It will come out of the loop. This is how for loop will work for you. Okay, Vinith, we are talking about iterative statements and looping statements. In this program, range is not a variable. No, it's not a variable. Of course, it's a variable, we can say, but basically it's a collection. Actually, it's a collection of items. Okay, instead of range, if you want, you can use list or tuple, anything. Like for example, I'll say maybe 1 2 3. Okay, so if I run now, what happens? 1 2 3 are printed here. As Python is a dynamic typed programming language, here you don't have to declare any data type for the X also. So for example, I'll take some strings here. Okay, list I have taken, maybe tuple I'll take. Any collection we can take. SLC for example, comma Python, comma training. Okay, if I run this now, I got SLC, Python, training. What happens here? In the first iteration, X value will become SLC. In the second iteration, X value will become Python. In the third iteration, X value will become training and it will print the data. That way, for loop will work for you. For loop and while loop are very, very important. And if conditions, the conditional statements we have discussed yesterday, they are also very important for us. They are like our daily life things. So daily programming things, day to day things kind of thing. Almost every day you have to write these loops, conditions and all. Okay. So for loop is clear to everyone.
Hello.
Yep.
Sir, asking one question.
Yeah.
Sir, just before this example, you have write 1, 2, 3 in square bracket, and right now in this example is small bracket. What is the difference between this? Like, we have also write this SLC Python training in square bracket also now.
Yeah, anything is fine. That is what I'm saying. Any collection is fine. So if I mention in the square bracket, what type of collection it is?
Tuple,
Tuple. Square bracket, I'm saying.
square bracket. I'm confusing.
Square bracket is list, right?
Okay, let's.
And parenthesis is tuple. Okay. You can
Okay,
use any collection here. That is what I want to tell you here. That is the reason why I tried a couple of combinations. There is no specific reason. You can use list also. Okay.
okay, okay,
The point to remember here is, here we should have the collection. Some multiple items we should have. That's it. Whether you take list, whether you take tuple, whether you take range, set, anything you take, that must be a collection. So the X iteration variable will be looping through that collection. Is that clear to everyone? List. Yeah, some people are telling the answer. Yeah, good. Clear, right? So we got an idea about while loop. We got an idea about for loop. When we are dealing with the loops, okay, we have to talk about two more guys. This is important. Try to understand carefully. uh, okay, for loop we have seen example. Say example, for X in range 10, print X. This is the example we have seen. Okay, we have transfer or jump statements. Transfer, some people say transfer, some people say jump statements. They are like break and continue. Break and continue statements are there. What they will do? Okay, this is important for us. Break is a statement which helps us to break the immediate for loop. Not only for loop, while loop also. The immediate loop. So if you mentioned one break statement in one loop for a specific condition, when the condition is satisfied, it will break, it will exit the loop. Okay, continue will skip one iteration. It will skip one iteration. So I'm saying exit the immediate loop. Okay, here I'm saying skip execution of one iteration. I'm saying. Okay, so this is clear, I think. Exit immediate loop, continue will do like a skip execution of one iteration. Let me write one example so that you can understand better. So for example, for X in range 10. Okay, I want to print x. Okay, so we know the answer for this program. What is the output? 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Up to 9 the x value will be printed, right? Now I'll write one condition here. The condition is like this: if x equals to 5, inside the if block I'm saying break. What happens now? Okay, so I said break will exit the immediate loop. This is the immediate loop for the break. So what happens here? When x value is 0, x will be printed, and x equals to 5, condition will fail. Fine. X equals to 1, 1 will be printed. 2, 2 will be printed. 3 will be printed. 4 will be printed. When x value is 5, 5 will be printed. Then it will check the if condition. X 5 equals to 5. That is true. Then break statement will be executed. What happens when the break statement executes? The for loop will be closed. It will be exit. It will break the for loop. So up to 5 only we can see the output. See here 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this way break will help us to break the loops. Like you want to run a specific loop for uh, up to reaching some value. Okay, up to reaching some condition, up to reaching some situation, some scenario. There we have to write the break statement along with the proper conditioning. Okay, say for example, if I write a break statement like this, what would be the output? If you understand this, if you can tell this answer, you understand the break statement properly. Guys, any guess what would be the output for this program? Give it a try. 1 2 3 4. Om is saying 1 2 3 4. How about others? Rian 1 2 3 4. Madhuri 0 1 2 3 4. Why you guys are telling 1 2 3 4? Actually, range range will take a value from 0, right? So even in the previous example also, we got output from starting from the 0. So now also it starts from 0. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4. When x value is 5, it will break the loop. Okay, that is how it happens. So if I run this, I'll get 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, if someone is still unable to understand, okay, let me debug the program. Generally how I debug, let me write this way. Okay, so what is my program? For x in range 10. Okay, so here if x equals to 5, break print x. This is my program, right? So how it will be converted? First range. What is the range value? We know that 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. These are the values. Okay, first time x value will become 0. Okay, x value is 0 now. Okay, it comes to the body of the loop. 0 will be replaced here. 0 equals to 5. True or false? False. When it is false, this block will not be executed. It comes to the next statement. Next statement is print x. We are printing the x value. That is 0 we are printing here. 0. Next, x value will become 1. 1 equals to 5. False. So the break will not be executed. It comes to the print x statement. So 1 will be printed. Then x value will become 2. 2 will be printed. When x value will becomes 3, 3 will be printed. Like that. 3 will be printed, 4 will be printed. Okay. When x value became 5. What happens? 5 equals to 5. 5 equals to 5 means that is true. Okay, true. When it is true, break statement will be executed. When break statement is executed, this for loop will be broken. It will get broken, or it will exit. It will exit from the for loop. If after for loop, if you have any statements in your program, maybe print end of the program like this, that statement will be executed. Okay, that is how break will execute. Is it clear? So the point to remember is we have to use it in a conditional manner. Whenever the break statement is executed, it exits the loop immediately. That is how it will do. It will execute. This is not only for loop. It works in the same way for while loop also. Okay. If you want me to write the while loop code also, I equals to 0, for example, while I less than 10, print I. Okay. If I equals to 5, break. Okay, I tried to write one simple example again in while loop also. So whether you are using while loop, whether you are using for loop, the break statement and continue statement you can use in both the places. Okay. Now let us see an example for continue. Here instead of break, I'll say continue, for example. What happens now? I told you that continue will skip one iteration. Whenever the continue statements gets executed, then the next lines of the loop will be skipped. Okay, so when x equals to 5, we are saying continue. So the print statement for the x will not be executed. The print statement for the 5 will not be executed. If I run this program, see here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is missing here. 5 is missing here. 6, 7, 8, 9. That is how it is working. Say for example, I'll write here one condition. Say like this, x modulus 2 equals to 0. I have written one condition like this. X modulus 2 means it is dividing with 2. The remainder will come. If the remainder is 0, I want to skip the element. If the remainder is 0, I want to skip the element. What does it mean? That means it is going to print only the odd numbers. So if I run this program, see the output. 1 is printed, 2 is skipped, 3 is printed, 4 is skipped, 5 is printed, 6 is skipped, like that. So how you can remember the continue is whenever you write a continue statement, so it will skip the next statements of the loop. It works same way for the for loop. It works same way for the while loop also. Okay. Is it clear? The continue statement is clear to everyone? Any doubts? If you have any questions, let me know so that I will try to explain again or try to explain in a different way. It's clear, right? Continue and break. Okay, we'll see some examples later, maybe. Next, we have one more thing, like okay, while you are writing not only for loops, not only for conditions, while writing the functions also, sometimes you are not ready with the logic you want to implement. Okay, so in that situations you can put one keyword called pass. One keyword you can use pass. What does it mean? Pass means you want to write the code later. Okay, so you want to prepare the structure. You want to prepare the structure first, then you want to write the actual code. Only if I write the for loop, if I don't mention any body here, it will give me error. Okay, see here, red color zigzag underline. Even in my program also it is showing it's error. Okay, so there is one statement you can keep. Okay, pass and you can write your code like if 10 equals to 20 something, pass like that. Okay, so this is also generally we discuss as part of continue and break only. So pass is used to, it is like a to do. Okay, later you want to implement something, for now you want to prepare the structure only, or maybe that might be a loop, that might be a conditional statement or anything. In that situations, for now you can keep a pass, later you can search for the pass and you can implement the words. Okay, so this is about iteration statements, and jump statements we discussed, and conditional statements also we discussed. Conditional statements means we covered different types of if conditions. Iteration means while loop and for loop we have discussed. Jump statements means break and continue we discussed. These are very important for us. We should be good with the execution flow of these elements. Then only we can write the programs in a better way. Okay, clear to everyone, or any questions on this part? Please let me know. I want to jump to the next topic if you are good with this. Any questions on this part? Iterative statements, or I'll give a couple of examples on this part. I mean, couple of assignments I'll give. Please try to complete so that you will get some more knowledge. Okay, I'll validate. Okay, clear. Okay, good. Next topic, an important topic and the last topic in our core Python sessions is functions. Okay, anyone has any idea about functions in any programming language? I want to add some points. It's a block of code, correct? Such a, it is repeat block of code, that is also correct. Any other ideas why we need to use functions? Okay, let me brief you. Okay, let me brief you. Okay, I have some logic here. Maybe maybe I have some employee details logic, some XYZ logic. Okay, I'm not getting some idea now. Some XYZ logic is there in my program. This contains 50 lines of, maybe 40 lines of code. Okay, yes, it is a specific block of code that performs a specific task. Correct, separate. Reuse the code. Very good, Silpa. Yes, that is what I'm about to tell. Okay, so guys, please follow carefully. You need to understand the concept first. Okay, I'm giving an example. I have some logic, XYZ logic. Maybe I want to I have a logic to check whether the given number is prime number or not. Maybe I have a logic to uh, close the employee account, or maybe salary payout logic. Some logic I have. Okay, it's logic, not login. Logic. Okay, it contains 40 lines of code. For example, I want to use this XYZ logic in 50 places. In 50 places, I want to use this XYZ logic. Okay, if you don't use functions, what you have to do is you have to write the 40 lines again and again in the 50 places. You have to copy paste that 40 lines in 50 places. So how many times you are writing? 40 into 50 times, right? It's a burden. You are unnecessarily adding more number of lines into your program. More number of lines, you are unnecessarily increasing the size of your program. That is one problem. The main problem is reusability and maintenance. For example, I have written 40 lines of code and I'm using this 40 lines of code in 50 places. Later, at some point of time, I have improvised this code. Instead of writing 40 lines, using 30 lines only, I can achieve the same logic, same XYZ logic. Okay. Now I improved my code. What I need to do? I have to go to all the 50 places and I have to copy paste the same code in multiple places. Okay, maintenance is very difficult for us. Maybe I did not change the number of lines. Maybe I have changed some logic here. Instead of using the same logic, I have written some other logic. I'm using more parameters. I'm returning some more variables. Something I made here, some changes I made here. What I need to do, I have to go to again all the 50 places. I have to make the same changes again and again. Okay, so maintenance would be very difficult if you are writing this way. We should not write it this way. The standard way is, if you are repeatedly using some set of lines, you have to define as a function. You have to define as a function and you have to reuse that. Okay, you should not write any repeated lines. We call it as a redundancy. Redundancy means unnecessary repetition of something, maybe code. Okay, unnecessarily, if you are repeating something, that is known as redundancy. We should not write code in that way. So to have a better maintenance, to have a reusability, to have a like a single unit, like a block to have the code, we got a concept of functions. Instead of writing this 40 lines, what you have to do is you just define one function, define a function, and call the function. Two things will be there: define a function and call the functions. You write all your 40 lines of code here. Okay, you call the function 50 times wherever you want. 50 times you can call 50 times. Okay, now if this is the scenario, if I want to improvise my code, if I want to change the logic of my code, or if I want to change the parameters or logic, xyz changes I want to do in this definition, what I can do now, I can come here, I can change the code. I can change the code. Now maintenance is very, very easy. Only in one place I'm making the changes, and that is going to reflect in all the 50 areas. Okay, so that is the purpose of functions. How to write the functions? As I'm saying, two parts will be there. One is defining the function, another one is calling the function. So there are different types of functions we can write. Let me write one simple function. So say for example, display, print hello, good morning, for example. This is the definition of the function. How we have to define a function? First, you have to use the keyword def, defining definition. Okay, then you have to provide a name to the function. This is the name of your function. While you are writing the function, you have to follow the identifier rules. You remember the rules, right? We discussed about a variable declaration. At that time we discussed about some rules. It should not be a keyword, it should not contain any special characters. The starting letter should be character or underscore. We can have we can have different cases like that. We discussed 4 or 5 rules. The same rules will be applicable here also. Okay, this is how we have to define the function. How to use it? Wherever you want to use the function, simply call the function. Calling means like this. You can simply use this function name and the parenthesis. That's it. That will be reused. Okay, let me write the same thing. Sorry, I missed here, I'm sorry. So this is the right way. So let me write the same thing in the python. Let us see. So now I'm adding one more file, functions, say def display message something. Okay, print hello world. Okay, this is my function. How to call this function? This way I can call the function. If I run it, hello world, I'm getting the output. Now how this will be executed? Say if I run this program, what happens? If this part is executed, one function will be created and its name is display, that is available for you for reusability purpose. Whenever you are calling function like this using the function name, the execution will go to the definition of the function and the body of the function will be executed, then again it comes to the display again. Okay, if you want to use it multiple times, yes, you can use it multiple times. You can call it. I got the output 3 times. Now I want to change the logic here. Okay, say print end of the function. End of the function. I'm writing here. Now what happens? Now what happens? I'll get the updated logic multiple times. I don't have to. If you don't use the functions, you have to write these statements multiple times, right? In all the places you have to go there and you have to make the changes. We don't know sometimes how many places we are using it. We have to do some find all, search all kind of thing, and we have to make the changes. If we miss by human error, if we miss to update somewhere, it will become a problem for you. Function definition, defining a function, calling a function. Any questions to anyone? Is it clear? You can write a simple function in the Python or not. Yes or no? Clear? Guys, stop me if something is not clear to you. I'm happy to repeat. Okay, this concept is very important. You need to understand. Let me take one more example. Functions 2, for example. Okay, example for parameterized function. Parameterized. Okay, so we defined one function, we call that function in the previous example. Okay, in this example, I want to pass some data to the function. Yes, we can pass some data to the function and we can perform some operations there. Okay, let me write one example. Simple examples only I'm telling you just for your better understanding for now. Okay, this is parameterized function. Say for example, I'll say define wish. Okay, and name comma message, for example. I'll write this way: print message comma name. Okay, let me write the function and explain you. Wish name is slc comma good morning. Okay, this is an example for parameterized function. Parameters means we are passing some data to the function. Okay, see here how the execution will happen. First, this function will be prepared and it is ready for you. When you are calling line number 5, what happens is these are known as arguments actually. The SLC, okay, when line number 5 is executing, it will call the wish function and the body of the function will be executed. That is clear to us. Okay, while calling that, first SLC will be assigned to this name variable, this name parameter variable. SLC will be assigned to name. Next, this good morning will be assigned to message. Okay, these are the values that will be assigned. SLC will be assigned to name, good morning will be assigned to message. Then I am printing a statement: print message comma name. Good morning space SLC will be printed as my output. Okay, so if I run this, see, good morning space SLC is my output. For example, I want to execute the same function for different data, SLC and happy learning. Happy learning. Okay, if I run this now, what happens? First time good morning SLC will be printed. Next time happy learning SLC will be printed. Okay, so I'm running it. Happy learning SLC is printed. Now the important point here is, say for example, I have one more parameter here, some var. Okay, now if I run the program, what happens? I'm running the program. See here, Wish function calling missing one required positional argument. See here, I have declared, of course I provided some wrong data, but okay, fine. I declared 3 parameters here. When calling, I am passing only 2 parameters. Okay, what happens now? It will give the error. Okay, fine. For example, I'll try the different way. I have only 2 parameters in the definition of the function, and while calling the function, I'll provide some extra parameter. And if I run, what happens? Wish function takes 2 positional arguments, but 3 were given. It's very straightforward message, right? So that function requires only 2 parameters, but we are passing 3 parameters. There is no matching function available there. Okay, we have to keep an eye. uh, we have to make sure that we are passing same number of parameters to the function which we have defined. So parameterized function, is it clear to everyone or any questions on this part? You can write any extra logic if you want. I tried to simplify, so I'm sharing you simple examples just to make sure you're understanding the concept properly. Parameterized function is clear to everyone or any questions on this part? If you don't understand, please let me know. You can repeat. Clear? If you are clear, we'll go to the next one. Okay, next one. Hope everyone is clear. Only few people are responding. Always they are responding. Functions 3. Okay, third type of function we'll discuss now. Function with return type. Okay, so till now, when we are calling a function, we are executing some logic in the function. That is what we were doing till now. Okay, not only executing some logic, we can send back some data to the calling area. Okay, wherever you are calling to that area, you can send back some data from the function. That is also possible. Okay, let me write one simple example. Define maybe get data. Okay, so return 22.7. Some data I'm returning here. Okay, this is how we have to return. Okay, I'll take a variable. So pi equals to get data print pi. Okay, I have written a simple program. How to understand how the return statement works in the function. So get data is my function. Okay, so you have some logic, you have some business logic that will perform some calculations for you, and it will return some information. Okay, how to return something from function? You have to write one statement, return, and you have to provide the data here. Of course, I hard coded here, but in real time no hard code values will be there. We have to provide proper variables or proper collections. Okay, so return 22.7 or some. Okay, something I have given, maybe 3.14, I think pi value 3.14. Okay, something. Okay, so how this return thing works actually? So when line number 5 is executed, okay, this is a assignment statement. Whenever the assignment statement is happening, first the right hand side part will be executed, right? What we have in the right hand side part, get data function is there. So it will go to the get data execution, I mean definition. So in the definition, what we have here, we have written 3.14. So that will return 3.14 and the 3.14 will become the value of this one. 3.14 will become the value of this part, and the 3.14 will be assigned to pi variable, and we are printing the pi variable here. Okay, now if I run this, I'm sorry, I need to run the third program. Run function 3. So 3.14 is printed here. Okay, when I'm saying when I'm talking about return statement, don't think that in our definition only one return statement will be there. Like you might be having some other statements also in the function. Welcome to function. Okay, some XYZ logic will be there, but make sure you are writing the return statement at the end of your function. And at the end of the function only we have to write the return statement. Okay, so if I run this now, welcome to function is printed. It returns some data, and the returned data is printed here. Okay, now uh, one question is, can I return only one value, or can I return multiple values also from a function? Yes, we can return multiple values also from a function in Python. In Python helps us to return multiple values also. Maybe I want to return one more value like this. So we can return the values like a comma separated values, 3.14 comma 85 for example. What happens now here? Here I have to take one more variable, say a for example. Okay, I want to print that also. So I'll print here print a. You remember the packing and unpacking concept in tuples? The same way how we did here also, the different values will be assigned to different variables here. Okay, if I run this program, 3.14 and 85 are my values written from the get data function. Okay, any questions on this part?
Sir, once again, మళ్ళీ రిపీట్ చేయరా?
Complete return type part
అవును సార్.
or only multiple? Okay, we'll repeat that part. So okay, the function type I'm talking is a function with a return type. In Python, functions returns some data. Okay, so automatically also it returns some data. I want to show that example also. If you want, you can return some data from the function. So let me write a different example. Say I have a function add a comma b. Okay, I want to calculate a plus b, some c equals to a plus b, and return c. Good. Now I want to call that add 10 comma 20. I'll print the sum. Okay, one small difference between this example and previous example is, in previous example I did not take any parameters. In this example I'm taking the parameters. That's the only difference. The purpose of the return statement is it will send some data to the calling area. So the line number 6 is the calling area. You can assign some function return value to a variable and you can use that. Okay, so how did its execution happens? Okay, when line number 6 is executed, add function will be called. While calling the add function, so the variables will be replaced with the values. In this example, a value will become 10, b value will become 20. Okay, done. Now the body of the function will be executed. In the body of the function, what we have written, c equals to a plus b. C equals to a plus b. I'm calculating sum of two numbers, 10 plus 20, 30. 30 will be assigned to c. I'm returning the c value here. Okay, c value is 30 here. When I called return c, return 30, what happens here? This value will become 30. Okay, and sum equals to 30. 30 will be assigned to the variable sum. And at the line number 7, I'm printing the sum. 30 will be printed here. So The point to remember is when you are calling a function, you can get some data from the function and you can assign that value to a variable for your further coding. Is that clear? Rajshekhar? Yeah. Okay. As part of this, I explained. I mean, I told like we can return multiple values also from a function. We can return multiple values from a function. Say for example, I mentioned c equals to a plus b, d equals to a minus b. Also, I have calculated. I want to return both the values. So I'll return c comma d. What happens now? From here also I can catch the both the values. Okay. If this is my program, so what happens here? When I call add 10 comma 20, what happens? C 10 plus 20 30 will be calculated. D 10 minus 20 minus 20 will be calculated, and 30 and minus 10 will be returned from here. Okay, that means it will become, while executing, it will become 30 comma minus 10. For your understanding, I'm telling this. Okay, 30 will be assigned to some variable, minus 10 will be assigned to difference variable. Okay, now you can use them. You can write a sum and a difference in the print statements so that it will print the data. Okay, multiple values in the return statement. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, now let me write the previous example only. I want to show you one more case. Okay, say for example, I did not mention, I have written my logic. I have written some XYZ logic, whatever the logic I want. I have written that. At the end, I did not provide any return statement. What happens now? I did not provide any return statement, but I'm assigning the function call to some variable. What happens now? Any guess? Will it give any exception? Will it return something? Will it automatically return something? Any guess? Guys, any guess? Guess whether it is wrong or right. In Python, every function will have one default return statement. If you define one function, even if you provided a return statement or not, by default, one return statement will be there in the function. If you write one function in Python, automatically one line will be there. That is return none. None. Return none will be there. If you are not returning anything from your function, by default, none value will be returned from the function. Okay, it won't give you exception. It will return none value. None value means in the Python, none means in other other programming languages, it is like a null. Okay, no value. So this is one important point you need to remember. Maybe if someone wants to trick you, trouble you in the interview or in a written test or system test, they may ask this kind of questions. Okay, I'm just repeating the point. When you define a function in Python, if you don't write any return statement, by default one return statement will be there, like return space and none. So it will return the none value from the function. If you are writing, your own return statement, okay, so this will override the none, and the value you want to return, that will be considered. So C value will be considered here. So if I run this program, what is the output? 30 will be my output. 30. Okay. Satya is asking one question. What is difference between return and print? Okay, return and print. Hmm. print is used to display some message in the console, that we all know, right? Okay, but I think you got a question with the written part. We not only always print the things, okay, we will be writing some logics always. Okay, so some calculations we will be doing, some evaluations we will be doing, we will be calling some services, we will be calling some functions. So the purpose of them might be getting some data, getting some value from the logic. So to get that data, we use the return statements. Okay, so maybe if you consider one employee, one organization, some information will be available with the HR department, some information will be available with the IT department, some information will be available with the some other XYZ department. Okay, say for example, I want to know your pay related things. I will call one method related to HR team. Okay, if I call that method, if I pass proper parameters, they will send the data. Okay, that is return value. IT people will have your assets, like what is the laptop assigned to you and all. Okay, so if you send them your employee ID or email ID some parameter, they will send you the list of assets you have. Okay, then you do whatever you want to do. You got the payroll details, you got the assets details. You want to print it, print it. You want to copy to another database, copy it. You want to perform some calculations, do it. Okay, so functions will return some data to you. They will perform some logic, they will evaluate some expression, they will interact with the database, filter some data, and send it back to you. Okay, then take the data. In this example, I have taken some data into some variable. If I want to print it, I can print it. If I want to do some more logics on top of it, I can write my own logics. That way you have to think. You have to think in little broader way. For simplicity, for your sake of your understanding, I'm writing the simple examples here. Okay, uh, is it clear so far, the points we discussed about the return statement and parameters and functions? Any questions? Shall I go to the next part? Okay, good. There are a couple of more examples. So it's 11:13. It won't take much time. Functions 4. We have seen parameterized functions, right? So as part of parameterized functions, we have one more concept, like a default value, default parameter value. Okay, also example for this one. Maybe we have learned that simple interest program. If you remember, simple interest. Okay, what are the variables we need to pass? Principal amount, number of months, and rate of interest. Okay, we know the formula, like interest equals to p n p n r divided by 100. Return I. Okay, so here I want to SI equals to simple interest 10,000, 12 months, 7%, for example. Print SI. By seeing this program, can you understand the logic, what is happening here? Okay, I have a simple interest function here. What are the inputs I need here? P is the parameter, N and R, 3 parameters are required. Here I'm writing the logic, the expression. PNR by 100 is my logic. After calculating the interest, I want to return to the calling area. What I'm returning here, I. Of course, if you want, you can avoid these two statements. You can simply write like this also. This will also work, no issues. But for better readability, I'm writing in two statements. Okay, done. So the logic we understand here. What happens here when I'm calling this function simple interest? 10,000 will be assigned to P, 12 will be assigned to N, 7 will be assigned to R, and the calculation will happen and it will return some data. The data will be assigned to SI and we are printing that SI value. So far so good. Okay, I want to have a default value here. Okay, maybe it's a home loan interest, for example. Most of the times it will be 8. Okay, so if I provide some value here to the parameter, what happens? What happens is, if you have a fixed value for a parameter here, you don't have to pass the parameter from the calling area. You don't have to pass the value for the parameter which is already having data. This is known as default parameter. Default parameter means it is already having some default value to the parameter. So now if I run this program, what happens? 10,000 will be assigned to P, 12 will be assigned to N, R value is 8, and it will calculate the simple interest. If I run function 4, I got the output here. Okay, so this is about default parameter value. What if I pass some value here? What if I pass the value here? 10 if I'm passing. So what happens here? 10 will be considered or 8 will be considered? Any guess? Malika, correct. Shilpa, correct. Okay, 10 will be considered. It is like our return statement we have seen in the previous example. Okay, if you don't pass any value for this variable, the default value will be considered. If you are passing some value, I'm passing 10 here, the 10 will replace the 8. R value will become 10 and it will calculate the simple interest and it will return here. Okay, this is about default value of the parameter. So you know one parameter value is fixed. 99% that will have the same value. Maybe for this year the rate of interest will be 8 only. Then you can fix it. Only user will send principal amount and number of months. Based on that we can calculate the simple interest. Due to any pandemic situations or due to any inflations or any other reasons, the rate of interest is changed, and this is not for permanent. If it is permanent, you can go here and you can change it. Temporarily it is changed. You can pass the new value for now and that new value will be considered. Okay, I got more responses from you guys, so I hope you got clarity on default parameter value. If anyone still having confusion, please let me know. Okay, good. Let us see next example. Functions 5. Rian is saying something. Rian will connect. I think you provided some more queries. Let me finish the session. Yeah, sure, Vishwas. I'll share today's recording. Definitely. It's important session, so I'll share it with you guys. Okay. Rian will connect in a moment once I finish a couple of types. So I'll clarify your questions. Next, key value pairs. Key value pairs. parameters. Okay, till now we are passing the parameters values in the same order. If you want to have them in a different order also, that is possible with the key value pairs. Say define simple interest PNR, return PNR by 100. Okay, while calling you can say like this also: n equals to 10, p equals to 12,000, r equals to 6, like this. This is also acceptable in Python. Okay, instead of okay, if you are passing only values, if you are passing, they will consider in the same order. The first value will be placed in the first variable, the second value will be placed in the second variable, the third one will be placed in the third variable. Instead of passing, okay, instead of passing in the same order, worrying about that part, you can provide like a key value pairs also. You can provide key value pairs also. You know the variable names like n equals to 10, p equals to 12,000, r equals to 6. Like that also you can pass the values. Okay, run function 5. So I got the data. Is it clear? So here only one thing is, I'm taking the parameter names and I'm passing some values here. As you are passing the values as key value pairs, order is not a matter here. You can pass in any order. Okay, are we good with this part? Okay, okay. Recurring function. Next we need to understand recurring function. What does it mean by recurring function? If you are calling one function inside if you are calling the same function inside the body of it, that is known as recurring function. Calling the same function inside the body. Okay, the best example for the recurring function is factorial program. How many of you remember factorial program? Say for example, if I want to calculate factorial for 3, how to calculate? 3 into 2 into 1. This is the factorial, right? So if I want to calculate factorial of 5, what is the factorial of 5? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, right? This is the factorial of 5. Okay, I can write this in a different way also. Factorial of 5 means 5 into factorial of 4. 5 into factorial of 4. Is it correct or wrong? Correct. Factorial of 4, I can write 4 into factorial of 3, right? That way, recurrently we are calling the same function. Up to 1, up to its value become 1, we can call the same function. Let me write the program so that you can better understand. Say definition factorial of n. Okay, I want to calculate the factorial. First, I'll check if n value equals to 1. If n value is equals to 1, then return 1. Okay, else return factorial of n minus 1. This is the logic. Okay, until n value will become 1, this function will be called repeatedly. Okay, let me call this function like print factorial of 3, for example. 3 factorial we know. If I run this program, sorry, here I have to say n into factorial of n minus 1. Run. We got the 6 as the factorial of 3. If I say factorial of 4, 24 is the factorial of 4. Okay, don't worry, I will explain in detail. Okay, now. Okay, first to try to understand recursive function means calling the same function inside itself. Calling itself, you can say, right? Fact is the function. Fact is the function. I am calling the fact function again in the body of fact function. So it is recurrent. So we can say it's a recursive function. Remember that point. A recursive function means calling itself in the body of itself. Okay. Now how the execution will happen for this program. So this is important. So when people wants to check your logical skills, they may ask you to write a factorial program. Okay, let us come to line number 10 first. In the line number 10, I'm printing factorial of 4. Okay, I'm calling factorial of 4. So it will go to body of the factorial function. Okay, body of the factorial function. So n value will become n equals to 4 here, right? N value is 4. Then line number 5 will be executed. In the line number 5, what is the condition? Condition is 4 equals to 1. Is it true? It is false. It is false. So else block will be executed. In the else block, what we have written? In the else block, we have written return n star factorial of n minus 1. So we are returning n star factorial of n minus 1. What is the n value we have? The n value we have is 4. And here 4 minus 1. That means it is factorial of 3. So it will come here. It returns 4 into factorial of 3. Okay. Again, the execution will happen. Again, factorial function will be called. So fact of 3, n value will become 3, and line number 5 will be executed. In the line number 5, the condition is n equals to 1. 3 equals to 1. True or false? False. So it will come here to the line number 8. In the line number 8, what we are saying? Return n star factorial of n minus 1. What is the n value here? Here n value is 3. So 3 star factorial of 2. It will become 3 star factorial of 2. Again we are calling factorial of 2. That means it will go to the body of the factorial function. 2 will be passed as a parameter. N value will become 2. Again line number 5 will be executed. 2 equals to 1. True or false? False. So else block will be executed. Again it comes here. And here what happens? 2 into factorial of 1 will be called. 2 into factorial of 1 will be called. Again 1 will be passed to the parameter here, and n value will become 1. Okay, now the line number 5, if n equals to 1, what is the n value? 1. right? 1 equals to 1. It is true. When it is true, true block will be executed. Return 1 will be executed. That means fact of 1 means 1. Okay, done. Now 4 star, 3 star, 2 star, 1. 6 into 4, 24. We got the 24 and it's a return statement actually. So we are returning the 24 to the calling area. In the calling area, we got the 24 and 24 will be printed here. Okay, this is an example for the recursive function and this is an example for the factorial method. Rian, please don't parallelly type the program. Please listen carefully. I'll share the code, then you can practice. Okay, if you are practicing simultaneously, it would be difficult for you and for others also. Recursive function is clear to everyone? There are two more examples in the functions. Let me finish them and then I'll take the questions. Okay, functions 7 I think. Okay, we can write a function which can accept variable length parameters. Till now we are writing PNR, for example 3 parameters only, like that only we are writing. For example, if required to send multiple parameters, n number of parameters, you don't know the count some reason and you want to send the same type of data. In that situations you can use this type of function like variable length parameters. Okay, not the fixed length parameters, variable length parameters. Say I'll write one function, define add star n. This is important here, star. Okay, and I can say like this, maybe sum equals to 0. Let me write the program and we'll explain. For x in n, sum equals to sum plus 1, return sum. That's it. So I'll say print, or maybe s1 equals to add 10, 20, 30, print s1, s2 equals to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, print s2. Okay, see here I have written only one function. I am calling in two ways. What are those two ways? In the first way, I call the function with 3 parameters. In the second way, I call the function with 6 parameters. Okay, logic you have to be careful. The data type should be same actually. So when you want to perform this kind of things, like you are calculating a supermarket bill, you don't know how many items the user may purchase, right? Your function should do the calculation of mathematical sum. Okay, you can go with this kind of function. What it will do, so it's very simple. Here you have to provide star n, not only n, any parameter you can say here. Star means multiple values. Okay, star means multiple values here. What I'm doing here, I have taken one parameter, sum equals to 0. Okay, and then I'm iterating through n. So if I pass 3 values will be iterated. If I pass 6 values, 6 values will be iterated. By iterating here, sorry, it is actually sum plus x. I'm calculating the sum or total of the elements. So in the first case 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30 will be placed in the place of n. X value will become 10 first and sum will be calculated. Then 20, sum will be calculated. 30, sum will be calculated. That way you can iterate through all the input parameters and you can calculate the total, you can return the total. So when you want to have n number of parameters, you don't know how many parameters you are going to get in the function. In the scenarios, you can write a star and one parameter name. You can loop through the parameter as you do for the collection. It is simply, remember this way, it is simply a collection. It will contain multiple elements. Loop through all the elements using for loop and perform the operations whatever you want to perform. Okay, if I run this application, if I run this program, I'll get output as maybe I'm overloading all the examples I'm telling at a time. There is no complexity. It is very simple examples only. You just refer once. I'll share the code also, and video will also be shared for those who attended today. So just refer once, you can understand it. Okay. If you are still having any question, you can ask me anytime. Fine. So this is an example for variable length parameters. Any question about this variable length parameter?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, here in the function as a parameter star, and this is like a pointer variable or
No, it's not pointer. It's a collection.
okay,
It's not pointer here. Okay. Star n means we don't know how many parameters you are going to pass. Star
okay.
means n number of. Okay.
Sir, I have one more question. Can
Yes,
you
please.
explain in one line that what is the difference between variable length and fixed length? In one line, means in
Variable
short,
and variable and
and fixed length.
function.
Variable length parameter and fixed length parameter.
Variable length and fixed length parameter. Okay, okay, I got it. I got it. Okay, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. Variable length parameter means, okay, fixed length parameter means you have seen the example here. So if you see this example, we have fixed length parameters. What is the length of parameters here? 3. We are passing only 3 parameters here. I know the function is having 3 parameters and I have to pass the 3 parameters. Okay. Variable length parameters means I don't know how many parameters user will send. Okay, he may send 10 parameters, he may send 20 parameters, he may send 2 parameters only. I don't know. Okay, variable length of parameters, I don't know how many parameters he is going to pass. Here one example, in one example I passed 3 parameters, in one example I passed 6 parameters, but still my program is working. If you have any this kind of scenarios, you have to write the program like this. You have to say star one variable name, I mean one parameter name. You have to iterate through that. You perform whatever the logic you want to perform. Clear?
Yeah, clear. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So anyone having any doubt about this one? I can spend time, guys. Don't hesitate. If you don't understand, let me know. Okay, I can spend time. So I am feeling it's an easy example, so I may be a little fast, but you stop me if you don't understand. I can repeat. I'll try with another example. We can go in slow phase also. Fine. So if you are good with variable length parameters, there is one more thing, like key values with variable length. I mean, you can send multiple key value pairs also, or you can send a dictionary also as a parameter to this one. Like it simply works like a dictionary. Okay, let me show you one example of that kind of also. You'll understand. If you remember the dictionary well, it's a simple program for you. It's nothing. Okay, variable length key value pairs. Okay, let me write one example. Define maybe some display. I'll say star data, anything. Previously I mentioned only one star, now I am mentioning two stars. One star means variable length values only, two star means variable length key value pairs. Okay, key value pairs. Okay, if you remember dictionary, how we print the dictionary values, Okay, I'll take two values here, two variables here. Data dot items, print. For example, I'm printing key and value. I'm taking a simple example. Let me call it also display. A equals to 10, A equals to 10, B equals to 20, C equals to 30. Okay, see here, I am passing key value pairs to my function. Point number one. Another point is I am passing n number of key value pairs. Okay, here I am passing only three key value pairs. Even if I pass four key value pairs also, it will accept. I don't get any error. But in fixed variable, I mean fixed length parameters here, PNR, you remember when we have three parameters, if I pass four parameters, it has given error. Okay, if I have four parameters here and if I am passing only values for two parameters, it was giving error. But coming to variable length, we don't have that issue. You can pass n number of parameters, it won't object. Okay, let me save it. See, if I run this program, what happens is this collection will be passed to this data variable as a dictionary. As a dictionary, we got the data from here to here. Now, the way how you read the data from the dictionary, in the same way you can read the data from this parameter also. Like if you say dictionary dot items, it contains a key and a value. So I'm assigning them into two variables, k and v. I'm printing them. Okay, it is also iterative like this. First time it takes a equals to 10. So k will become a, v will become 10. K comma v will be printed. A comma 10 will be printed as output. Next, in the next iteration, b equals to 20 will be considered. K value will become b, p value will become 20. B comma 20 will be printed. C comma 20, 30, D comma 40. Like that, it will print the values. Let me run this. Uh, Dictionary data, some error it's giving. Is it case sensitive? I think I have given wrong case, the habit. Okay, see here, A10, B20, C30, D40. Okay, guys, please remember to make it a simple example. I'm just printing it, but in real time, you will be reading this data. You will be performing some logics on top of it. Okay, remember that way. Okay, here I'm providing values like this. Maybe we'll take a different way, like name equals to SLC. Okay, course equals to Python. See, I'm providing different types of data, different length of data, duration, or maybe what I can say, location, Hyderabad. Okay, previously I passed four key value pairs. Now I'm passing only three key value pairs. Still, it will work. I'm sure you don't get into this level of execution when you are doing regular programming, but you have to learn this concept also. As a concept, you need to learn it. Name SLC, core Python, location Hyderabad. I got the data. Is it clear? Any questions on this part? Guys, I'll do a quick recap. Okay. Functions are like a block of statements, set of statements. The purpose is to make the maintenance easy and to have the reusability. Okay, to have the concept of reusability. Okay, two things we need to remember. We have to define the function first, then we have to call the function. defining a function and calling a function. Okay, let us see quickly one by one. Where is my function example? Okay, it's here on why it's not showing there. Okay, so first we have seen this is known as a default function. So I have defined one function display, and I have written my logic, whatever the logic. Of course, for here, for now, I have written only print statement, but in real time, you will be writing some logic here. I'm calling 3 times the same function, but I'm calling the 3 times in the same location, but in real time, you will be calling in different places. Okay, assume that way. So when I call display, the display function body will be triggered and that logic will be executed. Okay, this is very simple function. Next, we discussed about a function with parameters. Function with parameters. While performing some logic in the function, you can send some data also to the function and you can perform the logics there. Okay, so for example, if I'm saying wish SLC good morning, this SLC will be copied to this name parameter, good morning will be copied to message parameter, and the logic will be executed according to that data. Okay, this is known as parameterized function. We are passing some arguments, we are passing some parameters to the function. Next, third example we have seen is function with return value. Not only we can pass values to the function, we can get some values from the function also. We can get function can also send some data to the calling area. That concept is known as returning data. Okay, so in this example we have seen it is returning value c, and it will go to the calling area and it will be assigned to variable sum in the line number 7. We also discussed about we can we can return multiple values also, comma separated multiple values also we can return, and in the calling area also we have to provide multiple variables like sum comma, difference comma, product comma, like that, so that all the respected values will be assigned to the variables. Also I told one point, if you don't mention return statement in your function, by default Python will write one return none. One return statement will be written automatically that returns none, none, that means no data. Okay, these are the points you need to remember as part of the return statement. Next example we have seen is default parameter value. Okay, for one parameter you can fix some value, that is like a, you can say default parameter, or that you can say optional parameter. While calling the function, you can pass the value for it, or you can ignore also. If you pass the value, the latest value will be considered. If you are not passing the value, the default value will be considered in the logic. Okay, that is the concept of default parameters. Next, key value pairs. You can pass the parameters as a key value pairs also. If you are feeling bored, or if you are not feeling comfortable remembering the order of the parameters, you can pass the values like a key value pairs to the parameters. While you are passing the values as key value pairs, you don't have to worry about the order. So PNR is there here, but here NPR is there. All the parameters should be there, but order does not matter here. Okay, that way also you can pass the values. That is one type. Next, we discussed about recursive function. Calling itself inside its body is nothing but recursive function. Okay, the best example for the recursive function is finding the factorial of a number. We have seen the execution part of this function. Next, variable length parameters. When you want to perform some similar kind of logic on multiple items and you don't know how many items the function is going to receive, you don't know how many items the caller will send to the function. In that situations, what we need to do, we have to have a parameter name with a star, and you can pass n number of values here like this. So all the values will be considered here as a collection. Okay, so if you want to see, let me print one statement here. Print type of n. Print type of n. Okay, let me run this program. Function 7. What happens here? See here what I got here, tuple tuple. So the data you are passing here, okay, will be considered here as a collection. That collection is nothing but tuple here. Internally the data is considering as a tuple. Okay, next we can pass n number of variable length of key value pairs also to your function. When you want to do n number of key value pairs, you have to say star star. When you say star star, it will consider like a dictionary. Let me print it. Print type of data. We'll see what the output will get. Function 8. See here, what is the type I got? I got a dictionary. So, okay, so you can send multiple items, you can send key value pairs. So once you got the data, how the operations you perform on a dictionary, how you read the data from the dictionary, in the same way you have to, of course, it is a dictionary only. Internally it is a dictionary only, even though you are passing separate values like this, it's a dictionary only. So you can read keys and values, and both you can read and you can perform whatever the operations you want to do. Okay, of course up to this level is not required for you. At least if you are good uh, up to this part, up to recursive function, you're good with functions. Okay, just for as part of syllabus, as for your reference, keep this variable length parameters and variable length dictionaries also. Now let me stop the recording, and I'll take the questions. If you have any questions on today's topic, I can address the questions.